Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Modhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshate Dukrankarane. O fooled ones, seek the Lord, seek the Lord. When the death approaches you, mundane learning will never protect you. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, so 14 verses we have finished in the last class. Last class means 15 days before. Previous week, we had a holy celebration in TUD, that is Technology University Dublin, one of the reputed university in Ireland. So previous year, I had requested them that apart from celebrating Deepavali, can we start one more event? And previous year, they had agreed, and this year they asked the proposal and we gave, and it was a good function. We had a Rangoli, competition for the students of the TUD. And we had some singing, some dance, classical dance, then talk, and a sort of conversational style on Holi, why should we celebrate Holi, etc. They were a good program. It was a very good program. So previous Thursday, we didn't had a class. And yeah. So now, if you remember my earlier class, 14 verses we had finished. This 14 verses, it is called Chaturdashi Manjarika Stotra. Chaturdashi means 14, you know. So this, 14 stotras or 14 verses are actually the virginal verses. Apart from that, after this, when the Acharya was getting, when he explained or when he sang these 14 verses, the other disciples who were in and around him, they also got inspired by the wisdom of his guru. And all of them were good at Sanskrit. Instantly, they also started contributing each verse, maybe one or two verses. So that's how it added around 14 to more than 14 verses, extra verses were added into the this Bhaja Govindam or Moha Mudgara. Now this 14th verse is given by one of his disciples. This is very interesting also. He, as being a monk or mendicant, is criticizing. Of course, it is a positive criticism. He is making a positive criticisms about the nature of the monk itself. See, when a person who is following the truth, one who is sincere, he accepts criticisms and is open for discussions and is open for criticism also. But when we are hypocrite, when we are fearful, when we have got different complexities and we are not truth and honest, we fear and we try to hide. Jatilo mundi lunchita keshaha kashayambara bahukruta veshaha pashyannapi cha na pashyati moodha hi udara nimitta bahukruta vesha. This last line has been often quoted by the different scholars. Oh, udara nimitta bahukruta veshaha. Just for the sake of belly, for the sake of food, people does lot of work and people take lot of roles, I mean to say. Like in the drama, someone take a role of mother, someone take a role of father, someone take a role of maybe minister or whatever. So similarly, in our life drama, we take different roles. Why? To fulfill our stomach or to quench our hunger. So there may be one ascetic with the matted locks, one may be with a shaven head, one with hairs pulled out by one by one, and one maybe is dressed himself with a different type of ochre robes. There are fools who, though seeing, do not see. Indeed, these different disguises are apparently are only for their belly's sake. So sometimes we have seen in different parts of the world, and especially India, there are few people just to have their livelihood in a comfortable way. Sometimes there are few people, unfortunately, who wrap themselves with the akar ropes. They don't have really renunciation. God-centered life will not be led in them. Just to fulfill their stomach, or just to have a comfortable life, or to demand the respect from the society, they may be disguised in the form of monks. If you remember Gospel of Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna also tells a beautiful story. Once thief was chased by villagers, or maybe the soldiers. So he ran, but at some point of time he understood there is no more chance for him to escape. He may be caught red-handedly. Then he was thinking what to do, how to escape. There he saw just what do you say, ochre cloth someone had put for dry probably. So he took it, he removed his clothes and he wrapped himself with the ochre cloth, and he smeared some ash which was available there. Just he smeared some ash on his body and face, and in a form of disguised monk, he sat there in a meditation. Because he had smeared ash on his face and on his body and all, so the soldiers, unfortunately, they didn't recognize the thief in this disguised form. Then they asked, "Sir, respected sir, did you see any thief like this?" Then he misled them. When the soldiers left, he was about to go and remove the ochre robe or ochre cloth and wrap him, again take his new, normal dress, and he wanted to go back, wished to go back. But at that juncture, a thought struck in his mind. Just I had wrapped the ochre robe or ochre cloth just for probably for few minutes, and there are so much respect I commanded from the people. Then if I become really monk, how much how much I can become how much I can command respect. That's what his intention. That's how he continued to become a monk. But slowly, he changed his life and he became a good person, basically. But of course, there Sri Ramakrishna tells in a positive sense. Though he was he was a monk, but in due course of time, he became a true monk, true to his heart, true to his conscience. But unfortunately, there can be cases, there were cases, and there are cases in the name of monastic, in the name of monks or whatever, they disguise themselves and they try to fulfill their desires. They cheat the people, they cheat the society. And we now and then we keep on hearing this type of stories in every culture, in every religion, and in every country. And the interesting fact is, so during Shankaracharya's time, so around 15,000, 1500 years before, 1500 years before, even there were cases like this. That's what it reveals. Because of a person who is openly is telling about these things, that means even in those days, in the name of spirituality, there were few hypocrites who were disguised themselves as monks. And he's telling one who is an ascetic with a matted locks. So if you see in the Himalayas, there are people who doesn't shave, doesn't take bath, doesn't properly, maintain their hair, and they leave it without cutting the hair, dressing the hair. So slowly it grows more and it gets into lock. Means they were not aware or they didn't bother for the body conscious. That's how it becomes a matted locks actually. But in due course of time, some curls have developed the traditions. Otherwise also they will add up some matted lock wigs on them. So there are a few curls who will have the matted lock hairs. And there are shaven heads. So there are some monks who does shave their heads. Because in the monastic principle, as which Shankaracharya himself has told, three Aishana has to be, the monk should be free from three Aishanas. What is that? Putra Aishana, the desire for progeny. Then Vittaishana, the desire for wealth. Then Lokaishana, the desire for name and fame. So from these three desires, the monk should be free, it seems. Apart from that, one more, Romaishana, Shankaracharya says. The philosopher Shankaracharya says that even the monk should be free from the Romaishana, means hair. The moment when you got a hair, if you can imagine, we will go, we will see whether it is okay. Then we will we will take a comb and we will keep ourselves in the hair in a proper position. When we are going somewhere, we will see everything is there. And nowadays, it has become quite common. Even when we become old, the hair turns gray or white. We will try to put a color and we will see, we'll make it black from the Indian context, of course. So from the appearance, it looks like we young. So basically, we have to maintain all these things. So instead of that, we should get away from this Romaishana. So we should shave the hair so that, maintaining will be free, first point. And second thing, because that I will look smart, I will look handsome, whatever that attachment to the body and handsome look also should go away. That should be also renounced. So as a result, the followers of Shankaracharya, they also shave their heads. So there are a few monks who shave their heads, and one with hairs pulled out one by one. If you see in the Jainism, especially Jain ascetics, they don't shave their heads. They're either the beard or the hair one by one they pull because of the extreme asceticism. And some are just they're wearing ochre robes with a rudrakshi mala, big spatika malas, all these things. They're having all this externally, this type of dresses, but internally they have not they are not leading a God-centered life. They have not been free from the desires. They are not leading the proper spiritual centered life according to the Shankaracharya's disciple. So you have to be careful from such people. The society has to be careful from such people. This is the one thing which they are intending. And also he's telling or he's portraying the society status. Udara nimittam bahukruta vesha. Just to fill their belly, to fill their stomach, people take different roles. So different dramas they play. Even like this, there are people are playing such dramas. There is a very interesting story in the, what do you say, Old Testament, I believe. I think Old Testament or New Testament, yeah. That the Adam's son, his name was, Cain, I think, Cain. He was the second son of the Adam, it seems. So he was very lazy person. But at the same time, he had a lot of desires. He was, he had to fill his belly all the time, and he had a lot of desires to eat or to sense gratification or whatever. At the same time, he was not ready to work, labor. So he used to do stealthily, like hiding behind the rocks. And if any animals or human beings or whomever going, so he used to kill them and he used to eat. So basically, work less and enjoy more. That was his philosophy, it seems. So even if you see many hypocrites or many people, good chunk of people in the society, we can see they would like to work less and they would like to enjoy more. Even in some people, so having such type of philosophy, they may take ascetic life. That is what the Shankara's disciple is telling. So we have to be very careful. Now, when we are discussing why this happens, if not all, many of the people who comes to this monastic life with sincere intentions, only they come. They start their spiritual life. They start their spiritual practices, all fine. But in some point of time, they will be unable to control their desires. The desires, the force of desires will take away their mind. Maybe, probably the discrimination will go back, take the back step, and their desires are so powerful, they will pull the such people's mind so that they become the prey to the desires and they become untrue people, which is very unfortunate. But scriptures say that such type of people have to suffer a lot, either in the present life or in the next life. So for a monks, you don't have any options or a choice to have such type of fulfilling desires or the way to fulfill the desires. We have to understand very carefully. Even if you think Ramayana story, Sita, because Sita wanted to be, Sita had to be kidnapped. Ravana went and he wanted to go and try to reach the hermit, the hut. But because Lakshmana had with using the divine mantra, he had drawn the line. That's what it's called Lakshmana Rekha. He was unable to cross that. Then Ravana made a plan. He disguised himself as a monk, an ascetic, and he went and asked for begging. In India, you know that begging is quite common. Of course, nowadays things are changing. So he said, Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi. Then Sita came and she wanted to give. And Ravana said, you come back here, come out here. But Sita said, sorry, I have been told that I should not cross this line. Please excuse me. Sir, I cannot come. Then Ravana became angry and he said that if you are not coming out, then I will curse you, your family, your husband, etc. So because in those days, a lot of ascetics had such a high power where they could have cursed. So fearing that she came out from the line, unfortunately, we all know that what happened. So Ravana kidnapped her and he took her to his own kingdom called Sri Lanka. So like this, there were in every time or in every society, there are cheaters in the name of spirituality. Why? Why they do such heinous acts or such bad actions, wrong actions, just to fulfill their bellies, just to take care of their life. So we have to be very careful about such hypocrites, and we should never become such hypocrites. That is a takeaway message from this verse or stanza. Now, this 15th verse is a continuation of more or less same time thing, or rather how a common person has been tormented by the desires is in the 15th verse. And accepted view is this present verse. I mean, the 15th verse has been attributed to Padmapada Acharya. There are four main acharyas, four disciples has been told. One is Sureshwaracharya, then the second is Padmapada Acharya, then Totakacharya, then Hastamalakacharya. These are the four acharyas who have started four mutts in the four corners of India. Now, this Padmapada Acharya has got, very interesting story is there about Padmapada Acharya. The story goes like this. The Padmapada Acharya was not very intelligent, it seems. So, but he was very devoted to his guru, that is Adi Shankaracharya. So every day after the bath, Shankaracharya taking bath, his disciple Padmapada Acharya used to wash his clothes and dry, and he used to very devotedly used to do all his guru services, personal services. Like he was more or less he was like his personal attendant. One fine day, Shankaracharya and all other disciples, they finished their bath and they got ready for the class. And they are all sitting, and Shankaracharya is also sitting. But Shankaracharya is waiting for Padmapada Acharya because he is washing, he has finished his bath, he has finished his clothes washing. Now he is washing his guru's clothes. So that is taking time. Now, the other disciples who were sitting there, they were discussing among themselves. They were murmuring, Are Padmapada Acharya is dumb. He doesn't understand any of the scriptures or whatever. I don't know why our guru is waiting for him. He's a useless person. In the sense, he's an ignorant person, or is not very good or very intelligent person, where he can understand all the subtleties of the scriptures or scriptural or philosophical arguments. That was their thinking, and they were murmuring among themselves. Adi Shankaracharya, he understood, because he had a great power, spiritual power. He understood what their guru disciples were thinking. So he wanted to teach the disciples about their arrogance or damba, we can say, ahamkara or ego. He wanted to bring it down, and he also wanted to show the greatness of this Padmapada Acharya. Padmapada had a different name actually. Acharya had a different name. So he was on the other bank of the river, it seems. So Shankaracharya immediately called his disciple. So now Padmapada Acharya was washing his clothes, other bank of the river, other side of the bank. But when his guru called, he didn't care. He left immediately his washing the clothes immediately, and he started just running on the water itself. So there is no bridge, or there is no any substratum which it can take care of him. He didn't care about all that. I will be drowned in the river or whatever. Just Guru is calling. So this is the easiest shortcut method, shortcut way to reach my Guru. Saying that, simply he started walking on the water. When he kept his first foot or feet on the water, then there was a lotus arose, and he kept his leg on the lotus. Then when it's second step, again, where he was about to keep his second step, again one more lotus came. So like that, the whole of river, when he crossed, every step before his keeping, there was a lotus coming. So that's how he was not drowned in the river. That's why it's called Padma Pada. So his pada, his feet was kept on the Padma lotus. That's why his name was called Padma Pada Acharya. So he has been often quoted for his Guru Bhakti. So if we are devoted to our Gurus and their instructions, how can we progress in spiritual life, how we can progress in our day-to-day life, how can we reach God, all therefore to make us understand our gurus and the saints and our teachers often quote the story of this Padmapadacharya. So such Padmapadacharya has given this verse or stanza. Angam galitam palitam mundam dashana vihina chatam tundam vruddho yati gruhitva dandam tadapina munchatyasha pindam. So this is also very interesting, and it is a very bitter truth or square fact of our life. I mean, the shloka's running meaning goes like this. The body has been worn out, means we have become old, or he or she has become old. The head has turned away gray or white. Head means your hair. The mouth has become toothless. The old man moves about leaning on the stick. Even then, he leaves not the bundles of his desires. He has become old. His body has worn out. He has got diabetic, he has got BP, he has got cardiac problems, and some other liver problem or pancreatic problem, one or two or many or whatever. And there may be hair loss, or the hairs have turned gray or white, and many of the teeth have fallen. And his back, the strength of his back or backbone has lessened, so he has been bent, and is using the stick for his movement. So physically, all these changes has come, and has become weak. Basically, physically has become quite weak, no doubt. But unfortunately, his desires have not reduced. His bundles of desires have not reduced. Even they are intact. So this is the square fact of many of us. There's a very interesting story. In a southern part of India, there is a savory snack, basically. It is called in Karnataka, in Kannada, it is called chakli. Then in Telugu, it is called chaklalu, something like that. It is basically made with the flour, rice flour or a gram flour. They make like a round thing. Muruku also, they say in Tamil. So they will be like, and it is a bit, what do you say? It is the rice flour, in the rice flour or a gram flour they have done, and it is fried in the oil, basically. It is not quite hard, or it is a bit hard, basically. So when you become old, and if many of your teeth have fallen, then there will be sharp edges also. I mean, comparatively, I mean to say. So if you not have all the teeth, then eating them or munching them will not be that easy. Apart from that, it is fried in the oil, so it can create a problem for your digestion. There can be, loose motion or whatever. So generally, old people are not suggested for old people, that is. So once all the grandchildren had come in the house for the summer vacation. So the grandma had prepared this chakli, very big chakli, very beautiful, very tasty and delicious. So the one grandson took the chakli and he was eating, and just he was moving in the house and he was eating. And he went to near grandpa. Grandpa is quite old, 70 plus or nearing 80, and most of his teeth have fallen. Of course, probably he didn't have a denture. So, I mean, this grandson just wanted to do some kidding with the grandpa. He said, Grandpa, you see, grandmother has made such a delicious chakali. So I'm eating. Do you want? Now, what we understand and what we expect. Now, yes, most of the teeth have fallen. He cannot munch. So it will be very difficult for him. He may have some bleeding if he tries to munch. Apart from that, his digestion power has come down. Since it is fried in the oil, probably it is not good for his health or stomach, especially. There can be dysentery or whatever. So, and he has he has taken or he has consumed the chaklis enough in his lifetime. So probably he should say that, oh, better, my dear grandson, I have eaten enough during your age or during my young days. Now I have become old and that doesn't suit my body. Better I will not take. You enjoy, my dear grandson or my dear boy, you enjoy. Probably this is the statement we may expect. So when the grandson went and he mocked or he did a kidding with the grandpa that, oh, grandpa, do you want this chakli? It is so delicious. And he's, trying to munch in front of his grandpa. Grandpa scolded the grandson. You fool, my dear boy. You don't know that I don't have a teeth and I can't munch. Okay, this is fine. This is, we can understand. And he said, now you go to your grandma and tell that I want to eat chakli, but I cannot munch it directly. So let her crush it into powder and you bring the powder so that I can swallow. So his teeth have fallen. He has become, his body has become weak. His stomach or his digestion power has come weak, but his desire to eat chakuli, that particular dish or any dish you can say, has not reduced, has not diminished, has not come down. This is what the author is trying to tell. Alas, what a mirage it is, what a Maya. This is nothing but Maya. This is nothing but Moha delusion. And similar example I have heard, some old man who had got a high diabetic, then the doctors had said that better you avoid sweets. Fine. So because there was a function and in Bengal, everyone love Rasgulla and Rasgulla cheese balls were prepared. Now, he loves Rasgulla, but at the same time, doctors have told not to eat sweets, to avoid sweets. Now, he knows that he is not supposed to take Rasgullas, and at the same time, he is not able to control himself. Then he is demanding his family members that they should provide Rasgulla for him to eat. They're saying that, look, you are not supposed to eat because I have got high diabetic, doctors have said. Then he said, yeah, then that's fine. Then because if you know, cheese balls are put in the sugar syrup. He said, you don't give me sugar syrup. And probably if you want, you can squeeze out the cheese ball and most of the syrup will go away, that sugar syrup. So whatever the cheese ball is there, just you give the cheese ball. So very hardly remains the sugar. So if I eat, then there is no problem, I think. So you can give. Like that, he fought with his family people or family members. He ate 1 or 2 or 3 rasgullas. He squeezed the sugar syrup and he ate. So he has become quite old. Probably he might have eaten few hundred rasgullas in his lifetime. Now his body is not supporting, but still, and he has consumed so many rasgullas in his lifetime, but still the desires have not been quenched, and he has not, he has not been content. Still, his mind is craving for desires. So this can be the plight of many of us. So it is not that when you become old, you will become spiritual. You will try to control your mind, or you will try to control your desires, our passions, our instincts. No, that is not possible. So here, the takeaway message or the intended meaning is, this is the square fact of the life. Alas, what is how Mahamaya? The play of Mahamaya is indeed very interesting. So what should we do? We should try to control our life, tame our mind from our childhood or from our young days itself. If we don't train our mind from the young days itself, then at the age when we are aged, it is not that easy to tame our mind. We can become nonsense or nuisance for ourselves and for the family or for the society. So that is what the takeaway message from here. Indriyanam jarayanti tejaha. In Kathopanishad, if you see, Nachiketa says that for Emma. The more and more we enjoy the worldly pleasure, sense objects, then due course of time, what happens? The power of our senses gets diminished, gets reduced, but still our desires are not getting reduced. Our craving for desires, craving for worldly objects are not reduced. So power of desire it is irresistible and unending. We have to understand. The power of desire is how it is. It makes us slaves. It puts us into problem. And not only that, and it is irresistible and there is no end to it. So when we are young itself, we should understand this. We should try to tame our mind. We should try to discipline our mind. We should try to discipline our life. Then only all these things are possible. When we have become old, not only our age has, our body has become old, we will be matured enough. We'll be common sensible enough. We'll be having a regulated life so that there will be no problem for me, neither or for our family people. So author has beautifully narrated the square fact of a common person's life. And also, so you should also understand that now how to control these desires, how to tame the mind when you say discipline the mind. So by meditation, by prayer, by scriptural studies, by spiritual practices. So fill your mind with good thoughts, higher thoughts, and you intensify the desires towards the good things, highest things. So the more and more, because mind is like a container. So you feel more and whatever ever is contained, that will be, your life will be reflected by that. The consequences will be on your life and your actions. So fill your mind with God, fill your mind with self, fill your mind with higher thoughts, higher ideas, higher ideals. Then the lower ideas, lower ideals, lower desires will be reduced. Because mind is like a creeper. It needs support. So whatever support you give, it depends on that. If you give the support of eating food, someone is foodie. So food has been given importance for in his life. That's why he's become foodie. For an example, someone is interested in watching movies. Someone is interested in going here and there, tour, picnic. Someone is interested in traveling. Someone is interested in some hobbies. Someone is interested in meditation. Someone is interested in studies. So how they have developed their life from their young days, that's how we can cultivate our life and personalities. So what you give is very important. So give the higher thoughts, cultivate good habits, cultivate good thinking. Then these desires can be controlled, can be tamed, can be regulated. This is what the author is trying to tell. Now, okay, householders or a common person or a common folks, nature is like this, fate is like this. Then what to speak of monks? True monks. Already in the 14th verse, we saw some hypocrites. Not such type of hypocrite monks. Say there are sincere seekers. The monks who are sincerely striving for the God realization, for the self-realization. What happens to them? What will be their state? What will be their plight? This question may come for all of us. Even that question might have come during those times. And again, one more Acharya, Totaka Acharya, who was one of the disciple of Shankaracharya. Because he instantly, he was known as again dull-headed or a dumb or a deaf person. He was unable to speak or whatever. By the blessings of Shankaracharya, instantly he wrote a beautiful poem on Shankaracharya and his guru, and that the meter, the chandas was in Totaka. Totakastakam, if you know, so you might have heard this name, Totakastaka. So in the Totaka meter, instantly composed a poem on Shankaracharya and his guru's greatness or uniqueness, and his the power of his guru's blessings, all these things. That's why he's known as Totakacharya. Such Totakacharya has also told, okay, my dear, it is not that only householders or common people are tormented by these bundles of desires. Even monks or spiritual aspirants, even monks are also tormented, afflicted by these bundles of desires. Mahamaya or the Moha is not that easy to get rid of it. Even what will the plight of the monks has been told in 16th verse. Let us try to understand. Agre vannihi prushte banuhu ratrau chubaka samarpita januhu करतल भिक्ष तरुतल वासः तदपि न मुंचति आशापाशः. So karatala bhiksha tarutala vasa, again this is also often quoted statement in the sadhu samaj or in the monastic environment. In front of the fire or at the back of the sun, late at the night, someone is sitting with the knees held to the chin. He receives his food only just in the open palm. He lives under the some tree, and yet the noose of desires spares him not. That means what? Even a person, a monk or a mendicant, even he doesn't have a bare minimum necessities. He may not even have a square meal every day. So he may get, say, for example, in the open arms, whatever food he gets, only that much only is consuming every day. Even in the Jains, there are few people who does this. I think one, two, or three times they take in the hand. Whatever you give, they will take that set, or one time, or two time, or three time. That's all. So there is a monk or a mendicant who is whatever you give one time in the on his hand, how much ever it can carry, only that much is taking a food, only one meal. And he doesn't have any house or a cave or to cover himself from the natural calamities, from the heat or from the rain or from the cold. Just he's living under the tree. And he may not have even a good cloth also, a single pair of cloth. Just he may have got only copy a lion cloth. And night, because of the biting cold, whatever the twigs or the wood was there available in the forest, he might lit and he is trying to protect. Sometimes he may not have that also. Just the scorching sun. Sometimes his body is being burned from the scorching sun, or that is the only form of heat he's having in the cold area. Such a ascetic life a person, a mendicant, is leading, even though he's doing such a great penance, great austerities, great tapas, even he may not be so easily spared from these bundles of desires. His mind be tormented from these bundles of desires. So Maya is not being, because it doesn't leave anyone, it doesn't spare anyone. We have to be careful. Then what is the way out? Daiviyesha gunamayi, mama maya duratteya, mameva ye prapadyante, maya me tam tarantite. This Maya is very inscrutable and very difficult to cross over. But whoever surrenders at me, at my fate, then I will help them to cross over this samsara. This is a beautiful teaching and great assurance has been given by Sri Krishna in the celestial song called Bhagavad Gita. So when we surrender at the feet of the Guru or the feet of God, then by his infinite grace, he helps us to cross over this samsara, to the cycle of birth and death, or from these desires. So why do we need God? Why do we need God's help? Because to get out from this samsara, to get out this from this delusion, or from these bundles of samsara, bundle of desires. Because desire doesn't spare anyone. It doesn't make any distinction. Oh, he is a king, I will be with him, and he is a poor beggar. What is the use staying with him? I will not stay with the poor beggar. Or is a householder, I will stay with him. Okay, is a monk or a mendicant, there is no use, I will not stay with him. No. Desire doesn't spare anyone. It doesn't do any partiality with anyone. It is a universal and it tries to occupy everyone's mind. If you give a seat, it will occupy whoever you may be. You might come from any religion, any society, any ethnicity, any walk of life, any profession. If you give a seat, it will occupy. It doesn't make any distinction. So even monks are also not spared by this desires and its tormentation. So one has to be careful, one has to be vigilant, otherwise no way out from these desires. So that means he doesn't have a shelter, he doesn't have even good food, he doesn't have a proper clothing, even basic, very minimum basic necessities are even not there. Such a austere life a person might be leading, but still we cannot say that he is free from all desires. He is doing a lot of penance, lot of severe austerities, yes, but it is not so all the time he will be free. That will help him, no doubt, but still it needs a lot of efforts. And also intention, what is the person's intention? Purpose is also very important. You see, even if you see in the cases of demons, they did 100 years of penance. They did japa, Om Brahmadevaya Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya, or any other deities, gods and goddesses. And Shiva appeared in front of them, Durga appeared in front of them, Kali appeared in front of them, or creator god Brahma appeared in front of them, and their boons were fulfilled. But again, they used all their power of penance and power of the boon in a wrong sense, in a wrong direction. Why? Their intention was not right. So just mere penance, mere austerities by doing, you will get power, you will get a lot of strength, no doubt, but that using in a right way is very much essential. So their right attitude should be there, goal setting should be there, proper thinking should be there. There should be sublimation of desires, culturing the mind, culturing the personality, filtering the thoughts, ideas. All these things are very, very important. Just because someone is poor, as Swami Vivekananda tells in one of his lecture, it is not that whether you are a king, you are a most attached person, and you are a beggar, you don't know. It is not that. Either you are a beggar, the beggar may be a most attached person, and the king may not be. Or it may be vice versa. So a walk of life doesn't decide who is unattached, it is only mind. A person may be king, he may be in the helm of affairs, he may be in the so many, what do you say, riches, but he may not be attached. Now a beggar, he doesn't have a proper house, just he has got a torn two sets of cloths, or even maybe one set of cloth, and he doesn't just have a begging bowl and hardly anything, but still he may be attached to them. One is necessity, apart from that attachment. So it is all in the mind. So we have to clean the mind. All our spiritual practices, all our austerities, all our satsangs, hearing lectures, all this thing is what? Cleaning the mind, cleaning the mind, cleaning the mind. Once that is done, then most of the thing is been accomplished in a life. So if your mind is not cleansed, even a monk is not free from the desires. Even he will be tormented. He'll be scourged by these bundles of desires. So don't think that just becoming a monk or becoming a ascetic, you'll be free from desires. No, you have to do spiritual practices. Rather, they have to fight more than common people. And they have to struggle a lot. Internal struggle will be intense in the spiritual life, in the monk's life. Many people, they don't understand. For a common people, external difficulties, external struggles will be more. But for monks, internal struggles will be very intense. And they have to face the mind, their own samskaras, their own, what do you say, uh, karmas and karma phalas. So their life will be very intense internally, and they have to struggle a lot. For that, one has to practice lot, Guru's grace, God's grace, all these things are required. So that's why we have to, as much as possible, we have to bring the God in our life at every moment of life, as much as possible. Bring the God, bring the self, and cultivate good habits, have a good company, study, japa, meditation, prayer, and service. All these things will help us to control our mind, tame our mind, lessen our desires, filter our thoughts and ideas. All these things will help. So may Sri Ramakrishna and Adi Shankaracharya bless all of us, so that let us have more and more uh, strength to control our mind, to lessen our desires, and to go forward towards God or towards self. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Yeah, so there is a very interesting concept called theory of sublimation, which is based on Upanishads. So that we will try to discuss in the next class.